The Invention of Photography by Nathan Blazek. Photography is derived from the Greek words photos, for light, and graphene, to draw. In 1727, Johann Heinrich Schulze discovered that silver nitrate darkened upon exposure to light. Roughly 100 years later, on a warm summer day, Joseph Nicephore Niepce took the world's first picture with an 8-hour exposure. While the method and chemicals he used is unknown, what is known for sure is that he used an 8-inch by 6.5-inch pewter plate. The image is so faint that in order to properly see the image, the picture must be tilted until the light shines on it at the correct angle. It is theorized that Niepce had coated the pewter plate with bitumen, which is distilled from coal or petroleum and is sensitive to light. After it was exposed to sunlight for 8 hours, he brushed the plate with oil of lavender, which dissolved the bitumen that hadn't dried during the exposure to sunlight. About the same time, another Frenchman, Louis Jacques Mende Daguerre, was experimenting to find another method of capturing an image. 12 years later, around 1839, Daguerre finally did it. He created the first image that was fixed and did not fade, needing less than 30 minutes of light exposure. Shortly following, a device was created and a patent was issued in photography to Alexander Woollcott for the invention of the camera. Using the Daguerre type process, he built a camera with a large concave mirror, not a lens, which reflected intense light onto the plate. Woollcott's invention greatly reduced the exposure time. Today, cameras contain the possibility of getting multiple prints or duplications. The pioneer for this technology is William Henry Talbot, who in 1841 patented the calotype process, the first negative to positive process, making copies of an image possible. This was an impressive technology, but it had one drawback. It would fade shortly after the exposure was complete. In 1851, Frederick Scott Archer invented the collodion process. This meant that the images required only 2 or 3 seconds of light exposure. Collodion paper was previously used to dress wounds and was waterproof and transparent. In 1871, Richard Leach Maddox invented the gelatin dry plate silver bromide process. In layman's terms, it meant that negatives no longer had to be developed immediately. In 1888, George Eastman patented the Kodak roll film camera with his new invention of flexible, paper-based photographic film. Finally, in 1900, the first mass-marketed camera, the Brownie, hit the marketplaces. 13 years later, in 1913, the first 35mm still camera was developed, along with the modern flashbulb, eliminating magnesium explosions that smoked out the surrounding area. Amazingly, in 1984, Canon had demonstrated the first digital electronic still camera, called the Canon Ion. Digital photography is now considered the norm, and has many new methods of storage other than film, from secure digital to compact flash, floppies to CDs, or even wirelessly directly into your computer. Technology is limitless. Where will photography be in the next 100 years?